would say at least 90% of our customer base also has shipments domestically going to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico.
Big time.
Without a doubt. And I think that's why it's a really good solution that we brought to the table.
This is Outside the Box with Asendia USA, a podcast educating U.S.-based brands, marketplaces, and e-tailers on international shipping topics and how they can expand their global e-commerce footprint.
Back to another episode of Outside the Box with Asendia USA podcast, where we continue the conversation where we left off last week.
So that's why it's working very, very well for us at Asendia.
Yeah.
And our clients.
Are there compliance things with this that maybe we need to talk about?
It's
domestic.
And in today's world, that's going on with the de minimis and with the tariffs and everything, this is kind of, it's neutral to all that. It's not affected by any of that. So I think, the postal channel is not being affected like it is internationally.
Okay.
Because right now with international inbound coming into the U.S., PS through the postal channels, that's basically been completely cut off. That does not affect the non-continental at all.
Yeah, no, it's standard, TSA regulations that we would follow in order to screen things, and Asendia screens them in our facilities and moves them, domestically. Yeah. And we have just as much capability to move those materials on domestic flights as we do on international.
So customers that may be interested in this, they don't necessarily need to have, let's say, their catalog, harmonized codes and things like that are not necessarily they're not a requirement.
It's a considered, all three are domestic moves.
Yep.
Perfect.
And the interesting thing, one of FedEx, if you ship to Puerto Rico, you need a customs declaration.
Correct.
It's considered a international shipment.
It's going over international borders.
Another big hot nugget right there for all you watchers. FedEx,
Puerto Rico,
considered an international to go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Because the planes go over international borders. That's the reason why it falls into that category. So, from our perspective, the key for us when we were rolling this program out and wanting to really build it was to have a really good partner, which is what we have. And the transits have shown it. And one of the things that's really that we get from our partner is that we get almost weekly transit reports.
Nice.
For every one of those destinations, mainland and also the outer islands. So we get really good transit reports that our sales team could share with their, for their prospects. And it really, really helps. I mean, it's all about the transits.
Chas, what kind of transit times I don't know if it has to be regionally or what, but
so typically once we get the freight at Cincinnati or LA, that's where we sort it and fly it out of. The majority now we're hitting 2 to 4 day transit.
2 to 4 day to the door, or
to the door.
2 to 4 day to the country, or to
the door
to the state.
We fly every day. It gets there same day or overnight. So these flights are going every day. So the transit times are phenomenal.
Is it an access to a domestic carrier that you use, or is it?
We have our own air cargo division.
Okay,
and they've had the relationships with the airlines, whether it's private or commercial, over the years. And because we're going to these areas, we have freight every single day.
Love it.
Yeah. So we're able to leverage that to a good partnership with the airlines and good rates.
And sorry, would they do all the screening for you? You guys screen yourselves, or?
Yeah, it goes, everything, because all the customers are TSA certified.
Sure.
So everything that goes through, it's good to go.
That's the airline screens it for you.
It's all on commercial air, right?
Yeah.
So International Bridge gets it as deep into the network in Puerto Rico and even Alaska and Hawaii as far as they possibly can, which is what helps the transits.
So for one of our clients, and for everybody watching, listening, so we have 5 processing facilities here in the United States. We've got JFK, Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago, and Los Angeles. So would it be east of the Mississippi would be processed out of Cincinnati, and west would be going to LA?
Yes, I would say yes.
Okay.
The only reason I'm hesitating is that we don't have Miami up and running yet, because we have Philadelphia, New York. All that is processed and goes directly to where are we sending the New York? Is it going to? I believe it's going to Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Same with Chicago, going down to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Okay.
LA, we bring it right to their facility. It's like a handover right to their facility. And so that's pretty much how it works.
Yeah, and that's one area that because we have this relationship with the airlines, if we have some good density in another region where we're not sorting at, we can stand it up pretty quickly because we know what the minimums we need to fly out. So, if Asendia or IB has prospects, we can keep the freight in that region.
Okay. And I know that I want to be mindful of your time too, and thank you for being so generous. So maybe wrap it up in a few minutes here, but I'm thinking in those markets, are there certain product categories that are kind of hot items or?
I think any type of e-com that's for the most part 10 pounds and under, right? So
10 pounds and under.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously your apparel, shoes, accessories, even supplements, all that kind of hot topics that people are ordering, but on the smaller side, 10 pounds.
And because it's going to a U.S. territory or state, then there's no restrictions like there would be going cross-border.
Exactly.
Beautiful. Love it.
And I would say from our perspective, at least 90% of our customer base, because we're an international consolidator.
Yes.
I would say at least 90% of our customer base also has shipments domestically going to Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico.
Big time.
Without a doubt. And I think that's why it's a really good solution that we brought to the table. And like I said, it's working out really well. And I think it's just going to grow.
Yeah, and I think it's just because of what it takes logistically to get into these countries is what makes companies like Asendia and an international bridge kind of special in that market, because we have that experience from moving things across borders, moving them across the world, where the domestic carriers don't really have a lot of that experience. So it really is an opportunity for companies like us to shine and kind of say, look at how quickly we can get this. It's a large movement all across water, and that takes that specific experience that companies like us have to get done efficiently.
Big time. So if we're an e-commerce shipper, 3PL even, and we're doing volume, let's say could be many carriers going to Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii. This is a solution that'll help transition some of the infrequent or variable transit times, more consistency in pricing, transit times, and delivery experience for those recipients located in those areas.
Absolutely.
And I personally, and I think that the buyers now that are in Puerto Rico, Alaska, and Hawaii, instead of ordering now from an international website because of everything that's going on with the tariffs, I think they're going to be looking more to buying stuff from a U.S.
to avoid all that.
I can see that.
That's going to be driving this volume for Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico through this.
Big time.
Yeah.
Chaz, is there anything else you might want to share before we cap it off here?
Yeah, I think just one more great example of this service. We just turned on a very large national retailer who stopped doing Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico years ago because they were using one of the big two.
Sure.
And it just became too expensive. It wasn't cost effective. They turned those channels off. When we went to them, they said, wow, with this transit time and with these rates, we could add those 3 areas back into our online ordering. And they just added Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. And this was a, multi-billion-dollar retailer.
What do they estimate that's going to bring in revenue-wise in a 12-month calendar year?
They're kind of wait and see approach, but based on what they were doing prior, they think it's going to be pretty significant.
Love it.
Anything's bigger than zero.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, they most of our shippers, if we look at their data, 1 to 3% of their volume typically goes to these areas.
Okay.
So even if they just added 1%, that's sales that they didn't have the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sure. Yeah.
It's profitable too.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Hey, Chas, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you. Tom?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Tom, thanks as always. Great to see you.
Very good.
All right, guys. That's it for this episode of Outside the Box with Asendia USA podcast. Thanks so much for listening and watching.
Share, subscribe, and download our podcast. To learn more about today's topic or for a free consultation, email us at ecommerce.usa@asendia.com. Come back for more insightful discussions on e-commerce shipping to Canada, Mexico, and worldwide.